This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Today?
This conference will now be recorded.
Me, the office only. Yeah. I am working here. We are going to the office every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Here, you know, it's partial confinement. Germany is doing very well in terms of corona.
Okay.
Now, you know.
And meet Dr. Kamlesh sir also. Kamlesh Agarwal sir from Nepal Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon. This is one country I've never been. You know, I should come to Nepal one day.
Yeah, sure,
I am from Mauritius, you know, but now I'm based in Berlin. So it's
Berlin.
very nice seeing you, and I've heard about you and your contribution to us. Yeah. Nice, yeah.
It's a nice opportunity given by WASME to share all our experiences, you know. We must thank WASME.
Yeah. And I think we have to use this technology not only during pandemic, but even afterwards, you know, connecting all the members. That would be a good thing. You know? Yeah.
But pandemic forcefully, because of pandemic, we are forcefully tech based now.
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's
So we are forcefully doing all these activities because of pandemic.
Pandemic, right.
It's good we are using technology now, and we are connecting each and everyone across the globe.
Yeah, that's
Sanjeev sir, I think we should start after 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can check.
Yes. We can start in 5 minutes.
Then other guests will join. Then we'll introduce.
yeah.
Participants started joining now. They are about to joining now. Vignesh sir, still you are not visible.
Yeah, I'm not able to start out my camera. There is a problem, but I think my
No
audio will
issues.
be on.
Might be some problem with my webcam. Yeah, no issues, sir. So you can present without presentation. No issues.
Thank you.
Janki sir, your mic is try to unmute your mic. We're not able to hear you.
Yes, now you can hear me. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now-
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just telling
But
Professor to check whether he has to press on share the webcam because I was having the same problem. You say down, it's written
Yeah,
share the webcam.
I
Whether
turned on the camera on, still it's not working on that one.
okay.
The amplifier is still not working. I tried.
Okay.
okay,
Might be
so
some network issues will be there, right? So no issues.
So can we start now?
okay, yeah,
So that
Yes.
means
We
in
are
that
okay.
we can just introduce. Then during the introduction round, and more participants can join also. So I'll be just introducing and welcoming you all to this live international webinar, Global SMEs in COVID-19 Crisis. World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, on behalf of my Honorable Secretary General, I welcome all of you, all the dignitaries, all the guests from across globe. Welcome to this webinar, Global SMEs in COVID-19 crisis. Let me first introduce about our World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises. We are the WASME. It was established in 1980, and we are the facilitator for MSMEs across globe. We have member representatives in more than 100 countries, and we are just supporting MSMEs in all the three verticals of the business: credit, technology, and market. We have got the consultative and observer status of all the
This
United
conference will
Nations
now be
agencies
recorded.
like UNCTAD, UNITO, UNESCO, and all the WHO also, ITC, all the intergovernmental and international organizations like WCO, OECD, and others also. We have been already continuously working for the development of the SMEs across globe. We are closely associated with 15 ministries of government of India, and we are in giving input in the policy advocacy also. Our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has already given the local for vocal also, so that India may be empowered in manufacturing, and it becomes the manufacturing hub also. So good opportunity for MSMEs, other MSMEs or SMEs across globe. They can also give support to these SMEs here. We are also into credit support, like all the governments. We are associated with government banks, RBI, and other bodies, and private bodies, so that they can fund also. We are also giving support in the technology. We have collaborated with various universities incubator, so that they can be supported in manufacturing technology like robotics, automation, 3D, and in services like IoT, ML, uh, blockchain, AI. Market access we support in all the local, national, international markets. So we have the esteemed panelists here. They will contribute their views. They will put their views about their country in this COVID-19 situation. This is very unprecedented situation. Everybody is just suffering, and all the global agencies, they are just talking about the economic and social losses also there. So how to come out with this situation? This is the challenge for every SME, because SMEs are the backbone of any country, and they are just contributing to 70 to 80% of the employment. They constitute more than 90% of the businesses and made very good contribution to the GDP of that particular country. So I'll be just introducing the esteemed panel here that will be moderated by Professor Ila Varsaran, PhD in Department of Management, Institute of Technology, IIT Delhi. Professor Ila Varsaran is a researcher and teach about production and consumption of in ICTs with a special focus on India. He is a recipient of the Outstanding Young Faculty Fellowship Award at IIT Delhi and Professor M.N. Srinivas Memorial Prize of the Indian Sociological Society. He has received research grants from IDRC Canada, Government of India, Oxford Analytica UK, IPTS, European Commission, Idea Corp, Philippines. He has taught at Pondicherry Central University and Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak. Our panelist, Mr. Dr. K. Janki, he is the ambassador of Mauritius to Germany, and associate professor Dr. Janki is the ambassador of Republic of Mauritius in Germany. He holds a PhD in economics from the University of Mauritius, where he is an associate professor in banking and finance since 1992. He is also a Fulbright scholar from the University of Maryland and a permanent representative economic and financial consultant of the World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises. Besides his contributions in scientific publications and his intervention in many conferences and seminars, he has also involved in various consultancy projects related to economy and finance issues in Mauritius. Another esteemed panelist, Mr. A.N. Uju, he is the former senior chief executive, Ministry of Business, Enterprise and Cooperatives, Business and Enterprise Division, Government of Mauritius. Mr. Uju is the chief executive at the Ministry of Business, Enterprise and Cooperatives, Ministry of Business, Enterprise, Government of Mauritius. He has more than 30 years of experience in the field of public administration, having served at senior management level in different ministries, namely the Ministry of Social Security, National Solidarity and Reforms Institutions, Ministry of Technology, Communications and Information, and Ministry of Health and Quality of Life and Ministry of Housing and Land in the Government of Mauritius. And I am happy to introduce Mr. S.M. Jullur Rahman. He is the WASME Vice President, Bangladesh, and Chairman and CEO of Rahman Group, Bangladesh. Mr. Rahman is a businessman and textile ready-made garment manufacturer, international manpower recruitment, restaurant, real estate development, international buying and selling, trading, export, import business. He is very much interested to build up international relations with different people of different countries, not only for the sake of business, but also for good friendship. He helps others in international buying, selling, skilled, unskilled manpower recruitment, JV projects, RMG, consultancy with PD government and partnership opportunities. I'll be just introducing Mr. Kamlesh Kumar Agrawal. He is the Vice President of Nepal Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Agrawal is the Vice President of Nepal Chamber of Commerce, contributing to the development of private sectors and enhancing trade and competitiveness of the Nepalese economy. He represents various business entities like Robin Foaming Paper Products Private Limited, Robin Polymers Private Limited, and Robin Commercial Center. He is currently the independent director of Nepal Life Insurance Company Limited and also director of Citizen Investment Trust, a government-owned financial institution of Bangladesh. He had been a public director Bangladesh, not Nepal. He had been a public director in Rashtriya Bima Sansthan and had served Kathmandu Upataka Company Limited as an independent director as well. I'll be just introducing Dr. Iradri, Ibikri Jaspir Iradri is the vice chairman of the Knight Lambert Foundation. Mr. Iradri was born with the Royal King Iradri family of Uganda in area of Viceroy State, Nigeria. He was the Viceroy State consultant on micro, small and medium enterprises development, attaining the status of train the trainer with the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDA, Abuja. In such a best practices, he proceeded further with professional development courses and certificate programs in business and enterprise growth at the Harvard University. Theory and practice of negotiations at the MIT in Boston, USA. Open day engagements in London School of Economics and the Lagos Business School. He has been in the micro, small and medium enterprises development space for over 10 years as an entrepreneur, consultant to governments, senior special advisor to Governor of Viceroy State of Nigeria on MSME. And I'll be just introducing another
yes, sir. Welcome to. Okay, yeah. Ozzy sir is also here, so you can welcome him also.
Yeah. Welcome, sir. Mr. Misibi. He's the WASME Vice President, Africa, Group Managing Director, FinCorp, Swaziland. Mr. Misibi is an accountant by profession with extensive experience in banking and finance. He joined FinCorp in 1997 and has previously served as the Deputy Managing Director, Company Secretary, Manager Finance, Credit Analyst at FinCorp. In
I think his video got disconnected, network gone. Let me check with Dr. Sanjeev. Hello. Let me check. Sanjeev sir, you are there? Hello. I think his video got stopped due to network issues. Let me check. Dr. Sanjeev sir, you are here? Dr. Sanjeev sir, you are here? Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ujjwal is the former senior.
Yeah.
Chief Executive at the Ministry of Business Enterprise and Cooperatives, Business Enterprise. Well, I'll be just handing over this mic to Professor Ila Vasaran so that he is the moderator of this session panel discussion. So he'll be taking forward to this panel discussion. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank WASME for this particular opportunity. And it has been really a privilege to sit in front of well-distinguished people and do this moderation. I request Megha to allow me to share the screen.
Sound not so clear. Yes, sir. I'll do that. Your name is showing with the name, please. Can you show me your, tell me your name once? Display name.
Written as Professor Vignesh.
Okay. I'll do that.
So meanwhile the screen is being presented. As a moderator, I'm not going to speak anything. I work more of a timekeeper and a facilitator. When people from Bangladesh and Mauritius and Nigeria have come, those are having adequate amount of experience better than me. I think as an audience in this particular group will be interested in listening to them more than me, a boring academic. So I request each one of you to come and talk about 6 major areas. Okay, I repeat, 6 major areas. Megha, I'm not able to share the screen.
No, we are doing that. We had made you, I think, presenter, but I don't know about your screen, but we are made you the presenter.
Okay. Can you see
Sir,
the
you can see
now?
the screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we all can see the screen.
Wonderful. Very nice. So I'm going to, today's moderation, let's focus only on these 6 areas, only from their country experiences perspective. One is related to market. What the present SMEs in their country are doing. Are they looking at the new market? Are they trying to strengthen the old one? What are they really doing? The second one is related to supply chain. How are they really managing production? Especially people from Bangladesh will be able to tell us how are they really managing the production now. And tomorrow, when the COVID situation becomes all right, how are they trying to manage related to, say, transport or supply management related things. Third one is related to technology. Because of COVID conditions, now we are investing a lot of money in new technologies because of the social distancing. We are familiar with what kind of technology we need to invest in now. What is being done? Most of the MSMEs are really struggling with this because of lack of capital. Is there any support system available from the government or any private investment is available? What can be done for tomorrow? The next one is related to labor. Okay. In India, migrant laborers are moved out of the places, so the industries, even when they reopen, they're having problems in getting the right amount of people or adequate amount of people. How do you really handle this situation? And in coming days, if you're going to face a similar situation, how do we really manage this labor? On the bottom of it, these are the 5 major areas where the companies are struggling with, MSMEs are struggling with. We would like to get the insights from this people, from the esteemed panelists today. At the bottom, we have regulation. Regulation is what is the role played by the government. Okay, whether the markets can be opened or not, whether the transport section can be running or not. Okay, what is the cost of the technology available, whether we need to import technology or not, whether to boost this economy, whether the government can make adequate amount of funding itself or not, whether it's going to allow the labor movement or not. So a lot of things are dependent on the government decision in terms of regulation, right? So we have 5 major areas on which we can have a discussion. And top of it, we would like to know what a national government can do. Okay. I request each one of the panelists to comment on that. Okay. What is the reason for doing this particular focus? There is a possibility of cross-learning. Okay. If there is a possibility of cross-learning, what I mean, Bangladeshi SME can learn from Indian experiences or from Mauritius experiences or from Nigerian experiences. So there is a lot of possibility for cross-learning. We are eager to learn what is really happening in other countries. So with this, I'll stop. I will request Mr. Zilur Rahman. I'm going by the list that is being given to me. No particular order I'm following. I request Mr. Rahman to comment on this. We may take around 10 minutes. So we will take 10 minutes of feedback or insight from each of the panelists. Then we open up for the discussion. Mr. Rahman.
Thank you. You hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you.
You're audible. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you, everybody. Welcome to our this international this meeting, this webinar. So really, this is the for everybody the tough time, but everybody has the whatever is come, like what we can say that everybody we say that when the biggest crisis come, and it's of course have the biggest opportunity it may become. So now all over the world we passing the time. This is very crucial, especially this is not for in the only one sector. This is in our social, economic, political, in every sides. So now in perspective of Bangladesh, just what I can say about the market, this about the market for our SMEs, the government already given very good opportunities, and they taken very good initiative for continuation the market of the SMEs. You see, from the village side, from the out of the city, the SMEs who are there, they are producing the product, but because of this pandemic COVID-19, they cannot send their goods, they cannot send their products to the foreign buyers, even to the local city buyers. So what they're doing, the government has taken the responsibility by some government post offices. They are the post office, but they taken the charge also for the transportation. As the SMEs, they can feel easy. They can send their goods, they can send their products to the city, and it is very easy to it is very easy for the SMEs who are out of the city to develop. Now they are now in very crisis position, but they have some production. They are running. Maybe some of them they had the 20 people. Now they have maybe five workers. Maybe some of the 50 workers. Now they have the maybe 10 workers. So whatever they are doing, they are running by the facility of the government. And we know that the market, not only for the government, who is the private sector, the private, like our private business organization, private business association, they are also supporting. Time to time, we are in the meeting, we are giving our opinion. How can we save these our SMEs? Because they are not facing only for this market creation for the new market, and they also they need also they're trying to they need to get the new market. They also need the old market. This need to be standing. So with the chambers, with the association, we giving them some opinions, giving them some indication, some directions how they can feel easier, how they can feel comfort to continue their business, and at least they can survive the running position. You know, this position, everybody are disgusted, everybody disrupted in their every position. So what we have to know, what we have to do, our government, from our private sector, everybody should be conscious. Everybody should adopt the current situation, and this is the practical situation, and we have to follow as per our current situation. So and it's the Bangladesh government also given very good opportunity to the SMEs. 20,000 crore Bangladeshi currency they already allocated for the project for survive or run these SMEs by in different ways. And so I think it is good initiative, and not only the Bangladesh, also for India, also the other countries around the world, they should have some proper initiative as the SMEs. They can run their some business, whatever they have, whatever their existence. Like the Japan, just yesterday I heard that the Japan government, without anything, just they're sending the money to the account of the business accounts in the business accounts, business owners accounts. They're sending the money, and they feel very much comfort to pay their rent, to pay their salary, to pay their utility bills. So this need to do all the governments. Now only the first country, the Japan, like this, I will say, with the third country, with the third world, with the less developed countries, also we have to as per our capacity, we should take like this initiative, as the SMEs can be survived. So I think, and also another thing also, what need the SME, what the facing the problem in this pandemic time, because they no have so much business. So what would be their proposition for the tax, for the VAT? So the government, not only Bangladesh, I would say, I would request, I will give my opinion to the all over the countries, all over the world's governments. Please reduce the tax, please reduce the VAT, as the SMEs, at least from this side, they can be saved something. So already in our Bangladesh government, just yesterday they given our 2020-21 budget program, and there also, yes, they use the tax, and also we expecting for other some facilities, as the SMEs, they can keep their existence in at least to get their livelihood, to give not only for the owners, also for the employees. And the SMEs people, usually they have how much, maybe 45 days to 60 days they have the cash. Usually they have like this cash. So what happening? So it is now about 3 months. It is about, more than 70 days like this. So where they don't have the cash money now to run their business. So if they don't have the cash, of course the government have to provide them in whatever in funds. They have to provide this cash to the SMEs, as they can run their business. And if not that, the business owner, he will be the loser, and subsequently, what will the loser? The employees. The government will also the loser to get the revenue, and full the SME supply, SME chains will be disrupted. So this, my opinion, would be to the around the world, because with the WASME, we not work only for one country. We are working for the around the world, for the different countries, that how we can give them some opinion, how we can give the how can we can just at the suggestion, as the people, as the business people, they can get some idea, and also as well as the government get some idea, as both they can be survived. I hope. Okay, let us talk again.
Thank you, Mr. Would you mind commenting something related to technology, in terms of any new investments are being made on technology, any adjustments are happening related to technology space by the SMEs in Bangladesh?
Yeah, SME technology, yes, of course, need the technology. These days it is a very essential for the e-commerce development. Already we have the e-commerce. These are technologies these days, especially these days. So technology is developing, and already you see from UNDP, they already launched one program in Bangladesh for the SME sectors, especially this is where the people from the village side, they can connect to this site developed by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and it is the marketplace, and from here they get in the buyer, and they can send the goods directly to the buyers from this marketplace. And we need more technology development. We need more to develop the technologies, and it is already going on. Already, you see, for the just today I saw the marketplace before was by the phone, by the online, but now also the some van. I mean, the thing need new innovation, new thinking. How can develop this technology for all the people, the not only the SMEs, all over all the peoples of the country, they can be benefited.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rahman. Please stay with us, and when we finish with all the panelists, we'll come back to you with the questions, please. Now I'll move on to Professor Janaki, who is an ambassador of Mauritius to Germany. Please share your experiences, sir. It will be nice to share your experiences from the German perspective, because from government of Mauritius, we have already Mr. Uzo. Over to you, Professor Janaki.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. As you all know that this pandemic needs, in order to deal with this pandemic, we need a new business model in terms of technology, in terms of we need funding, we need really try to revisit lots of basics and lots of fundamentals. And in Germany, I'm going to talk in terms of from the German perspectives, and in order to deal with this pandemic, the different countries are dealing differently, but then the common thing is we have to establish the supply chain and trying to come up with a new technology and new platforms and try to see in what capacity, the activity can be restarted in all countries. But those countries like Germany in Europe, they have more resources and they already have an SME sector which plays a very important role. For example, if you take the case of Germany, for example, the SME, account for more than 50% of the GDP, and they make up 99% of all companies, 3.5 million enterprises in Germany, and they employ around, more than 60% of all jobs. So this is just to indicate to you that the SMEs in Germany is so important that it is coming back in the forefront, and the German government and the German institution realize that in order to restart economic activity, in order to continue to prevent contraction and prevent the collateral damage which has already been inflicted. So they are putting a lot of emphasis on all the different sectors that you are mentioning in terms of the market, the supply chain, technology, funding, the labor market, and most importantly is regulation, because now we know that we cannot really, in this situation of pandemic, we cannot really depend on the private sector. It is the government which is coming with the rules and regulation, first of all, in terms of the health sector, and secondly, in terms of trying to reinvent the economy with new technology, etc. Now, I think it is important for us to understand, because we are mainly from developing countries where many of the things are dealt differently. But then in Germany, when you look at the SMEs in Germany, you would see that it is very well diverse, and there's a diversity, and it is a sector which is known as excellence in terms of the small number of products. When you look at the trademarks of German products, the brands, and what is very interesting for Germany is it has a strong international presence, and the SMEs, they are closely linked and they work very closely with the German large corporation. And given the diverse, dynamic, and innovative approach of SMEs, in Germany, I think it is, when looking at the experience of the SMEs now in the post-pandemic era, as we can say that even that they are diverse, and dynamic and innovative, it's very easy for them to adapt to the new models to change into the new ways of doing business. And then they have a business culture. This is very interesting to note about German, So they have a special business culture based on discipline, based on hard work, based on no corruption to some extent, and they're closely related. The government works very hard, and they come with strong policies in order to address the SMEs. And one interesting thing is SMEs in Germany, there's inclusive growth, it is distributed everywhere along Germany. And there's a very interesting training and job creation done by SMEs. Now, more importantly is we have to look at the problems of the pandemic and how Germany is dealing with the problem of the cash flow, the problem of logistics, the problem of trying to help the SMEs into using the new technology or into trying to change their business model and trying to connect the supply chain, because Germany our main exporters, they are connected not only to Europe, to India and all countries, and then how they are trying to help into the payment and the marketing system, and then trying to give all types of finance, for one, not only to maintain the good health of the population, but then to ensure food security, and then initiate and organize and try to promote SMEs into new areas which are very important. Okay, now you have institutions in Germany which are very important, like KfW, and the German government has come up with a package of 130 billion euro aid, an economic stimulus package, in order to not only to deal with the small and medium enterprises, but to whole business. But then, what is its importance to the small and medium enterprises, which play a very important role in Germany? The aid package is the support for families, and giving, in order to increase demand in the economy and continue as a multiplier effect. Because if you look at the economy, okay, and then the social security contributions, for employees and employers have been constant. There have been a delay for that, and then the government has been trying to promote and give funds, in order to secure jobs through bridging aid for SMEs. One important aspect is liquidity for companies, that is trying to give cash flow, maintain the cash flow, and then support for local authorities and culture. And then in Germany, they have come up with a reduction of the tax turnover. Okay, they have tried to modernize the corporate law in order to help SMEs. They've come up with better depreciation options as an investment incentive for SMEs. And then they have also tried to look at innovation premium for small and medium enterprises. And I won't tell you that that the SMEs, they have not been pandemic, because if you look at in April 2020, the KfW, which is a major development bank here, they talk about a drop in the sales, a big problem in the supply chain in Germany. But then the problem is the German SMEs, they are very resilient, and they see that around 43%, they have changed product and services. They have tried to adapt to the new technology, and then they are trying to use online and all types of transactions to come back to normal. Then there's a lot of adaptation. It's the fact that they are excellent, they are disciplined, and there's a huge amount of funds, in terms of tax measures, in terms of loans, in terms of all types of loans given to them. So I find that, for in Germany, in developed country like Germany, SMEs are not really having problem to cope with the pandemic. And I'm going to stop here and then allow others to continue, and then we can discuss. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Janki. One small additional information I would like to ask: what is the level of interaction between SMEs and the government in Germany?
Yeah, you see, if you look at the amount of the amount of enterprises between SMEs is shown at the meters down here. There are around 3.5 million, 3.5 million SMEs, in Germany. And the interaction, I think they play, given their importance in the economy, in terms of innovation and technology development, in terms of their contribution to the economy and job creation. I think government, plays a very, very important, have a very close interface with SMEs. And not only that, the SMEs play a very important role in connecting with a large corporation in Germany. So I think that there's a very close relationship between, German government, the KfW, which is a major development bank arm for the government, and SMEs. So I find that things are working. We have to learn from the model. We have to learn from Germany and what they're really doing. Okay, they have the resources, they have that advantage, but then there are many things that we can learn from them in terms of the appropriate regulations which are being, rules and regulation which are being passed, and the different packages and the different support which are being given to SMEs. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Dr.
balancing.
Janki. I would like to interrupt Vignesh sir. We would like to welcome one guest, Dr. Radari from Baisala. So I think he's here now. So let's welcome him also. Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Sanjeev sir.
Iradri, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome, sir. Dr. Sanjeev Laik from WASME, sir. Welcome. Dr. Iradri, welcome.
Just
Okay, shall we continue?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you can continue. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Iradri, please stay with us. We are going one by one. I've been asking panelists to respond to the broad domains that is already displayed in the screen now. Now I'm requesting Mr. Uzur from Government of Mauritius to share his experiences and insights on this 6 major areas that is already proposed. Mr. Uzur?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be amongst you today. What I would like to present to you today is, first of all, a broad picture of the pre-COVID situation in the SME sector. Then we shall look at the impact of the pandemic on the sector and the measures taken by the authority, and we will have some further observations. So to come to the SME landscape, officially there are some 125,000 small establishments registered in Mauritius. Around 47, nearly 50%, are operating mostly at subsistence level with self-employed people or with family members. Their turnover would be around 2 million Mauritian rupees per annum, each one with 5 or less employees. Only 7% employ more than 20 workers with a turnover of over 10 million rupees in Mauritius. Therefore, the picture, the landscape is highly skewed towards enterprises with low value addition. So the challenge is to reverse this pattern and significantly increase the share of high value SMEs. This requires, or required rather, a major structural shift towards an enterprising productive apparatus. So what the government of Mauritius did 3 years back, it introduced a master plan. On the eve of the pandemic, the SME sector itself was contributing to over 40% of GDP, employing nearly 55% of the total workforce globally. Then, the lockdown of the country came with the COVID-19, and this has heavily impacted on the operations of SMEs, as you would imagine, and this happened in almost all the countries, who suffered from the pandemic. It is important to note that the country is heavily dependent, SMEs are heavily dependent on imports from different countries, especially from the Southeast Asia, for its manufacturing industry. So you can easily imagine the critical situation of enterprises given imports of raw materials were severely jeopardized. This high dependency on imports from countries also heavily hit by the pandemic created a very high level of concern and apprehensions amongst the main players in the industry. And this relates, as I said, to shortage of raw materials, unavailability of alternative sources, impact on prices, slowdown in production, logistic problems, problems of shipment, etc. And there was also concern on how long stock level would last. Then on March 19th came the complete lockdown of the country. In the light of concerns and apprehension expressed by the different players and stakeholders, especially those who are suffering most, the government came up with a series of measures to ease up temporarily the situation in the country. But before we look at the measures, as I said earlier, we had a master plan. The master plan came up with a series of measures that was 2.5 years back, came up with a series of measures to help the SME sector to reverse the pattern of this low productivity, especially for the high-end products, and significantly increase the share of high-value SMEs. Therefore, what was required was a major structural shift towards an enterprising productive apparatus. The master plan's objective was to pave the way so that promising SMEs become globally competitive players. So to come back to the government role in easing out the situation, the government introduced a series of measures to assist and support the private sector. Bien sûr, of course, it includes the SMEs and the small wage earners. So first of all, there was the introduction of a wage assistance scheme whereby an amount equivalent to half-month salary, subject to the amount being capped at a certain level, was introduced. This helped people who were not earning anything during the lockdown to earn a few rupees. Then another measure that was introduced was a self-employed assistance scheme equivalent again to half of the monthly minimum wage level. Of course, without any revenue, without working, the different enterprises were faced with a situation where they could not meet their obligations towards their creditors. So government introduced a loan scheme and again a moratorium of 6 months on capital and interest repayments, and asked landlords, for example, to defer the requirement for payment of rentals, etc. Yes, of course, beneficiaries were called upon to comply with and satisfy certain eligibility criteria, and in return, beneficiaries were called upon and expected not to lay off workers or cease activities when the lockdown would be lifted. Here, I must say the lockdown has now been lifted, but there is as yet little or no indication as to whether the measures that have been taken have met their objectives. However, with the closing of frontiers, the tourism and hospitality industry has been hit the hardest, The impact of small businesses in that industry has been devastating. Otherwise, the country has started to come back to life with other economic activities restarting gradually. But the effects of COVID-19 still persist. At this stage, I would like to dwell a little bit on an important event in Mauritius. 2 weeks back, the Minister of Finance presented the budget for the period July 2020 to June 2021 with a very important theme which reads out as follows: our new normal, the economy of life. This theme, translates beautifully that post-COVID-19 life would never be the same as before. In his budget speech, the Minister of Finance has come up with yet a number of measures aimed at protecting and promoting local manufacturing and, in the process, local enterprises. Just to mention two of them: dedication, for example, of at least 10% of shelf space in supermarkets for local produce, procurement by government bodies to be at least 30% locally manufactured goods in the agricultural sector. Other measures that continued relate to the provision of credit facilities for local entrepreneurs, as well as the promotion of Made in Mauritius label. Thus, it is expected that the push for local production, both for exports and for local consumption, will open avenues for existing and new entrepreneurs. Otherwise, SME independent local experts have voiced the opinion that access to credit facilities remain extremely difficult for SMEs, and the existing schemes to facilitate growth in the SME sector may not be the adequate breather required by small operators. We should keep in mind that the IMF has already predicted that owing to the great lockdown of the world economy is heading towards a recession, which is expected to be even worse than the Great Depression of 1930s, financial crisis of 2009. Latest indicators in Mauritius reveal that we shall be experiencing a contraction of up to 11% of our GDP this year. Private investment is also expected to fall by around 18%, further slowing down economic activities. According to experts, there is little in the budget to help relaunch the tourism and hospitality industry. We know there are a lot of small operators and service providers in this sector. Therefore, there is cause for concern and apprehension. SME Mauritius, the body established in Mauritius to support and assist small entrepreneurs, therefore has a crucial role to play and to come up with ways and means to put resources at better and more productive use. Time is now of the essence for us in Mauritius. Actual implementation of new policies and schemes is fundamental in combating the crisis. It is important for us to create a confident business environment. To conclude, let me quote from the 10-year master plan, which I mentioned earlier on. Not everyone is adequately skilled and equipped to create an opportunity. Similarly, not everyone pursues opportunities, even if they are obvious. Those who have the talent to do so must be empowered to test their ideas on the market. Policies have a role to play in devising the right entrepreneurial ecosystem whereby talents take on opportunities and are rewarded for taking risks. Market forces alone will not do the job. Government policies must take care of the potential that exists outside the traditional business sector, unquote. I am of the considered view that this has all its relevance in today's context. I'm sure COVID-19 at the end of the day provides lots of opportunities. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Wu. So that was a real complete talk and very expressive in nature indeed. Now I'll move on to the next panelist. Yeah, thank you very much again. I'll move on to the next panelist, Mr. Kamlesh Kumar Agarwal, to share his views from Nepal. Sir, to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to all my friends. Let me to first give some important indicators of Nepalese economy. Nepal is a buffer state between two giant nations and two giant economies of Asia, India and China. Nepal is a landlocked country, having land connectivity with India, China, and also with Bangladesh. Our population is 30 million. Our total GDP is 32 billion USD. Our per capita income 1085 USD. Our total business volume is 12 million USD, out of which 92% is the import and 8% is only export at this current stage. And we have the SMEs contribution in our GDP is 18%, and our large scale industries contribution is 6% only. Our economy is based on remittance, and our current remittance is 8 billion USD. So but the major strength of our country is more than 50% of total population is youth only in Nepal. This is the biggest strength for us. Due to the complete lockdown for more than 81 days, we have very negative impact in all our economic sectors of the country: tourism, SMEs, industry, transport, construction, agriculture. And major problem is towards the SMEs, because SMEs, there is no lockdown for the bank interest, no lockdown for the labor and staff liabilities, no lockdown for the other expenses like rent, electricity. And now due to the lockdown of more than 18 days, there is a major problem for the SMEs is the bank liquidity problem. Now we have, we on behalf of the chamber and other private organization, we have pressurizing our government to give a stimulus package for the entire damaged economy to recover in the U-shaped recovery, because we cannot imagine for the V-shaped recovery in our country's size of GDP. So we have asked 5% of the stimulus package for the GDP, whereas the government already announced 1.5% of the total GDP package in the last budget, and now we are expecting more 3.5% in our coming monetary policy. And we are demanding a very low interest rate, 2% interest rate for stimulus package for our SMEs, which may go up to 3 years in time to recover our economy. Now, as my indicators are showing that Nepal is a import-based economy after the impact of the COVID-19. Now our government and we private sector all are thinking to make a U-turn in our economy, to convert Nepalese economy in self-reliant economy, not a importing countries, to allow FDIs in SME sector, all FDI to be channelized through one window system, so that it will be a very fast regulator, competitive tax policy with our neighbors also, because we are between the two giant countries. And major important point what we have suggested is the subsidized electrical charges for SMEs in Nepal, because being a landlocked country, our cost of production is nearly more than 18% higher side, which can be subsidized by giving facility of low electricity cost and plus reducing the tax rate at this juncture. So after the COVID-19, we will have a lot of opportunities in Nepal. Let me to brief you certain major sectors of opportunity in this country. One is the agriculture sector. We have got a very fertile land and plenty of water for irrigation. Supportive agriculture policy is also anticipated from the government. It will increase the productivity up to 3 times if we import latest technology of agriculture in our country. Second, we have got the opportunities hydropower. We have more than 85,000 megawatt of hydropower resources in the country, and export market for hydropower is already, we have a PPA, power purchase agreement with Bangladesh and India. So high demand in India and Bangladesh. will be giving a very good boost to the hydropower sector of Nepal. We have got a very good scope in the tourism related SMEs project also, but for the 1 year or up to 2 years, we may not think about the carrying on that tourism project. But still, if we go for a long-term planning, for the tourism sector, it is also a viable country. According to Lonely Planet, Kathmandu is the 5th top travel destination, while TripAdvisor.com has ranked Kathmandu on 19th out of 25 best tourism destinations. So actually, we have suffered a huge setback on this sector. We have a huge opportunity for the medicinal herbs also. Nepal is a always center for herbal richness with more than 10,000 spices and herbs in the alpine belt. Now the government is also giving a very good planning for the SME sector to exploration and utilization of all concentrated herbal products, so that the country's economy may be in a very good state. We are also working in a research to prepare the vaccine for coronavirus. WHO is also studying about it. If we get those type of medicinal herbs in this Himalayan belt of Nepal, and we have got a very high score for beauty products also, which are very preventive for any type of skin diseases. And apart from that, we have got mineral resources also, very huge mineral resources in our Himalayan belt, which is remain to be exploited and explored. Having so many opportunities, and after the impact of the COVID-19, first thing we are going to change our technology system. We don't know how much the impact of the social distancing will be remain for a long time. So we will be going on the e-commerce, cashless economy, digital-based economy, e-payment system, and all. We are softening our laws, all these type of e-commerce regulations, so that the business community will be getting facilitated for that. And again, now the time has come for the self-reliant economy. So we see a lot of opportunities to having even a FDI investment in Nepal in SME sector, because our country economy being a small economy, we don't expect much in the large scale industries, rather SME sector. Thank you.
Mr. Laik, by the way, just I'd like to inform you this, the online also participating one our secretary in charge of Dhaka Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Janul Abidin.
Oh,
He also, I saw.
welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm just listening to
Mr. Abdin, please allow me to come back to you after we finish with the two panelists.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Sir, right, because the two panelists are already waiting. After that, we'll come back to Mr. Abdin. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Agarwal. One clarification. What is the level of interaction between the Chamber of Commerce and the government to deal with this COVID situation?
We have got mostly day-to-day interactions with the government, during the last month, every day, because we have to see the supply chain also. We have to make a supply chain of the essential items also. Within the lockdown period, we need to make a supply of the essential items, drugs, all to the. So we are having a regular contact, frequent contact with the government of Nepal, with all the ministries.
Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you very much. I will move on to the next panelist, Mr. Dunisani MSB. I'm pronouncing his name rightly, from Swaziland. Please share your views. Mr. MCB, Dunisani MCB. Okay, looks like there is a connectivity problem. We'll move on to the next panelist. If he's able to connect back, we will speak to him. Dr. Iradri, please. Please share your views from Nigeria. Dr. Jasper Iradri. Can you hear me?
Sir, please unmute your mic, sir. We are not able to hear you. Please unmute your mic, sir. Please click on that. Unmute your mic. We are not able to hear you.
Dr. Hiradri?
I think Vignesh sir, he's trying to do that. He's trying to unmute his mic.
All right. Mr. Durisani is there? Maybe two of them are not there? No, we cannot hear you. No, sir, we can't hear
He's
you.
trying to unmute his mic. He's doing some settings, I think so.
No, we can see you, video is on, but we cannot hear you.
Let me try to call him. Wait.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, Mr. Abdul is available online. He can share his views. He wanted to share
Yeah,
his
you
views
can
about.
continue the session.
Yeah. Mr. Abdul, are you around?
Yeah, I'm listening. Am I
Yeah,
audible
please
for
share
you?
your SME experience. You have 5 minutes. They can get back to the old panelist.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, I am a participant today in this webinar, and it is
Wonderful.
a great pleasure for me to share my experience with Bangladesh SMEs. You know, Bangladesh is one of the emerging countries in Asia as well as around the world. So our main industrialization was based on agriculture. Now we are transforming from agriculture economy into industrial economy. During this transformation, SMEs are playing a great role. As per latest industrial survey, there are 7.8 million SMEs in Bangladesh. And among all
Okay.
these SMEs,
Mr. Rajan, sorry to intervene. We are trying to understand how SMEs are responding to this COVID situation. So
yes,
we
yes,
are talking about, because we already had.
Yes, I am coming to
Please
your point, sir. Yes.
Please go ahead.
So, Bangladesh SMEs are employing about 84% of civilian employees here, and they are contributing about 25% of our GDP. So, SMEs are from diverse sector. For example, for agro processing, light engineering, electronics. These are the largest SME sectors in Bangladesh. During the COVID situation, the supply chain was completely disrupted because there are some export-oriented SMEs in Bangladesh. For example, from ready-made garments, from food processing, from agri processing. These sectors are directly linked with the export market. So coronavirus situation stopped their shipment, everything. But after the lockdown lifted from 1st June 2020, it is going to be resume again, but it is taking time. But by this 3 or 4 month lockdown, it destroyed many things. For example, foreign order has been cancelled or has to be stuck down, and these types of hazard situation was arised. But our government is very much careful about the SMEs and their growth. Therefore, in current national budget, they offered 20,000 crore Bangladeshi taka package for revival of the SMEs and 5,000 crore Bangladeshi taka for the wage payment of the export-oriented industries and another 30,000 taka for the large industries. So government is trying to boost up SMEs again, and hopefully we'll overcome the situation. But we have some challenges which has to be met up. For example, the foreign buyers. those who are engaged with our SMEs, Bangladeshi SMEs. Now, if COVID situation cannot be controlled within next 1 or 2 months, then it will be difficult to remain the buyers here. Not only buyers, Bangladesh is also seeking foreign investment in many SME sectors. So, if we cannot overcome this situation within next couple of months or next couple of weeks, then it will be difficult to bring any foreign investors here in Bangladesh. So, from a sales perspective, from investment perspective, from international market access perspective, everywhere we are facing challenges due to the COVID situation. And supply chain, obviously, supply chain has been disrupted like anything, but interaction between government and private sector is going on. For example, we from Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we have submitted SME recommendation, SME friendly budget recommendation, and SME friendly recommendation to the government of Bangladesh from through Minister of Finance, through Minister of Industries and other ministries. And Alhamdulillah, government is also listening to us. Government is responding like anything very quickly. Our honorable Prime Minister, she is taking special care of the SME sectors. As government has two different policies to take care of SME. For example, Industrial Policy 2016, it is designed as a SME friendly policy. Not only industrial policy, we have also SME policy 2019. This policy is specifically dedicated for the SME sectors. For example, we have a few thrust sectors, those who have potential to grow further. For example, Bangladeshi ready-made garments is our major export earning sectors. Besides ready-made garments, government is trying to diversify export basket, and government is trying to bring some new sectors. For example, leather and leather goods, pharmaceuticals, agro processing, light engineering. These types of sectors are coming up. Growth of the leather sector is very much satisfactory because we are producing about 4% of global leather production, but our export is only 0.56%. So we have scope to increase export of leather goods and leather sectors. Not only that, shipbuilding is another sector is coming up, and our jute and other sectors are also booming up. So if coronavirus situation overcome, then our industrial policy or SME policy 2019 being implemented, obviously the sector will get boom and we can recover the situation as soon as possible. Therefore, our government is targeting 5.2% GDP growth in current fiscal year, and next fiscal year our target is 8.2%. So we are aiming to be recovered like V-shape. As quickly we fall down, and we want to recover as quickly as possible. Therefore, private sector, government, both are engaging, but we have some limitations in terms of technology transfer. Bangladesh is graduating from LDC towards middle income country. In this process of graduation, we are trying to adopt new technologies because our production, if you would like to produce something in global quality, then you have to ensure the productivity as well as product quality. So our we Bangladeshi SMEs are trying to increase their productivity now, as well as to get international certification. Your product is very good, but if you don't have certification from global standard organization or voluntary organization or country specific organization, then again it will hamper your market access. So Bangladeshi SMEs is now trying to adopt global technology to increase its productivity as well as product quality. Thus, we would like to remain competitive after COVID situation, and hopefully we can do that. From labor aspect, yes, Bangladesh is a labor surplus country. Bangladesh is exporting about 10 million workers abroad now. We are also trying to adopt those expatriate workers who are coming back to the country with their new skills. For example, if they migrated from Bangladesh, they work there in any specific sector, so they are also coming with modern technical knowledge with them. So we would like to adopt them in local industry as well as utilize their technical know-how, managerial know-how for the betterment of local SME sectors. So from a labor aspect, from technical aspect, we have limited access to funding. So obviously, Bangladesh, there are 7.8 million SMEs. So our funding requirement is much. As our funding requirement is increasing, so government is trying to supply fund as with many aspects. For example, our government has increased our export development fund EDF from 3.5 billion US dollar to 5 billion US dollars just yesterday through our national budget. So not only export development fund, we are trying to increase our technology access fund, green climate fund. These types of fund packages are also coming up from the government end. So hopefully we can overcome the COVID situation with all the support from market access aspect, from supply chain aspect, from technology adoption, by utilizing local resources. But we have some challenges. For example, after COVID situation, we may face one shock, as global experts are discussing about a global economic meltdown or great recession or such types of happening. So we are also careful about the recession period. We are also careful about the unemployment, because if our expatriate workers coming back to Bangladesh, then unemployment will be raised. If local companies are reducing their workers or labor, so unemployment will be raised. So from unemployment perspective, our government is trying to focus on three things. Number one is increasing agriculture production for food security. Then increasing industrialization movement, then employment generation. Employment generation in perspective of self-employment as well as to create new employment opportunities. So hopefully we will overcome the situation successfully. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is really nice. It has given really an elaborate or exhaustive understanding about what is really happening in Bangladesh. Now, I would like to go back to this panelist listed here. I want to understand whether Mr. Dunistani MCB is ready now. He can speak. Okay. Okay, Dr. Iradiri is around. We can say hello to each one of us so that we can talk. All right. If there are problems in connecting, probably we
No
can open
problem.
the
Might
floor.
be he will take 5-10 minutes more. In the meanwhile, we'll continue the session. Once his things will be done, he'll let me know and then I'll announce. No issues.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Megha. Now the floor is open for
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Those who are attending the session, feel free to ask questions. It can be either to the chat or you can ask the question. All right. Now the floor is open. We'll take a minute or so. Organize your thoughts, type in your queries.
Hello. Can you confirm if you hear me now? Do you hear me now?
Yes. We can hear you. Yes.
Is it Dr. Iradiri?
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead, Dr. Iradiri.
Please confirm I can go ahead. Oh, very good. Firstly, I apologize. I seem to have the technical glitch here. These are the issues with technology. But beyond that, the is affecting all SMEs globally, and we need to begin to look at new ways to work with, learn to live with COVID-19. And for SMEs in Africa, in Nigeria, Nigeria has 41 million SMEs, and you can tell that with the various lockdowns, this has affected the market, supply chain, funding, and all what have you. So basically, what we need to look at when it comes to developing and adapting SMEs to the realities, to the new realities, we need to look at SMEs embracing innovative-driven enterprises. So innovative-driven enterprises should be the way to go. This has to be an adaptable approach for all SMEs. If you must thrive in post-COVID-19 as an SME, you must be innovative. So the new language to preach should be innovative-driven enterprises, IDE. So I would like to encourage WASME to across all borders, across all its networks, to begin to drive this position, this new reasoning that for post-COVID-19, for SMEs to thrive, they must thrive with the approach of innovative-driven enterprises, IDE. Beyond that, I think that for SMEs in Nigeria, we have been hard hit by the developments on COVID-19, because businesses are largely informal, and the governments came up with regulations to lock down the economy. So I mean, you can't trade easily. Businesses are not open. So the only businesses that are surviving in the interim are those that are online businesses. Businesses that happen online. Using technology. So this is what the new world order will be. So I want to encourage us all SMEs, to begin to look in that direction. We must learn to adapt. Adaptation is key. So for development, I would just like to say that governments across all levels should bail out SMEs. Come out with what you call special stimulus packages. Because this is the only way that SMEs would have some level of support. The world as we know it would not be the same. Imagine you're traveling from point A to point B. They are telling you that you should be operating at 30% or 40% of capacity. So you see that all these are going to affect the SMEs. So funding support, a bailout as a special stimulus package should be encouraged by governments across all levels. Here in Bayelsa, Nigeria, the government is already thinking in that direction. We are engaging the government to look at how they can give some level of support. And at the federal level in Nigeria, the Central Bank of Nigeria is coming up with special palliatives for SMEs. So in a nutshell, this is what is happening in Nigeria at the time. This is a particular focus on Bayelsa, Nigeria. But on a general note, we need to begin to approach the innovation. Innovation-driven enterprises are the way to go. Thank you very much. May I stop at this time and allow other contributions, and I could come back again on this.
Okay, Dr. Eradri, I have a small question. Could you please say something about the nature of industries, SMEs in Nigeria, for our understanding? What is the nature of business they do? Manufacturing, tourism, what kind of this SMEs are there?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I didn't hear that. Could you repeat it? Could you say that again?
We are interested. Yeah, for the benefit of the audience, we would like to know what is the nature of SMEs in Nigeria. Is it typically into production, manufacturing, or services, or into exports? What is the nature of these SMEs in Nigeria?
SMEs cut across production, exports, they cut across all, and in good measure too, in good numbers. A majority of the percentage will go for.
All right, sir. Looks like there is a lot of problems. There is a lot of noise at your background.
Question: Do you want me to say more?
It is okay. Let's move on to the next panelist. Mr. Sme, are you there?
There's no noise at my background.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise. We are not able to hear you. You are sitting in a very windy place.
Oh, it's quite okay. I'm sorry about that. Now, do you hear me? Do you still hear me? Can I go ahead?
Yeah, so we just want to know about the nature of the SMEs in Nigeria.
Can I go ahead? In Nigeria, you have SMEs for production, you have SMEs for exports, and there are greater percentages for production than exports, which is a challenge in any case. We believe that in a time as now, SMEs that are engaged in exports are likely going to be more if you want me to put it that way, because
I think we lost
you know, global depression. So SMEs that are still out might have gains and benefits in that.
Right. Thank you. Okay, the floor is open for questions now. If you have any open questions, please ask us. Okay, you can type in your questions or you can ask directly. I will channelize to the panelists. I'm Dr. Sanjeev Layak. I'm having one question to the panelists. What will be the new normal for these SMEs in this COVID-19 or post-COVID-19? Yeah. Okay, I repeat the question from Dr. Sanjeev. What will be the new normal for SMEs in the post-COVID-19? Okay. I request Mr. Agarwal to respond if he's still available online.
Yeah, you know, still COVID-19 impact is continuing. We even cannot evaluate what type of damage it is going to do the economy and how much longevity of this impact will be to our economy. You know, once the complete impact will be over, then only we can think of the suggesting from our side, private sector side, to the government to frame the SMEs new regulations, new act accordingly only. You know, just recently only I have mentioned you that now Nepal, as in our case Nepal, we are going to U-turn back on our principles of economy. Till now, we are the import-based economy in this country. You know, 92% of our total volume of business is import only, whereas export is 8% only. Our basic source of foreign currency earning was due to the remittance. More than 3 million people are migrated towards other countries, in Malaysia, in Middle East. Now their future is also, we don't see that much bright in those countries, as the economic situation in the Middle East as well as in other countries also where Nepalese migrants are working, it worsening also. So they may have to return back to the country. In this context, we have suggested the government, being a small economy, we have got more potentiality about the SMEs only, not to the large scale enterprises. So we have suggested either in the agriculture sector or in the productive sector. Why not we can see the employment opportunities in these two sectors, as we have got a huge potentiality in agriculture sector. As I mentioned there are the good perspective of the 3 times productivity. Only the thing is that we have to make our market competitiveness with our neighbor India, because there is huge subsidy in agriculture sector in India. In the same way, as I told you, of our total volume, 92% is import based. So why not we start production in our country, a self-reliant economy where we can create the employment opportunities to the needy people also in this sector, 2 sectors. Rest other, we have got a huge opportunity. So after the complete impact of the COVID-19, we will be able to give in the actual what we need to have a facilitation regarding the SMEs rules and regulation, which government may provide to us. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you.
If
Mr.
I
Abdin
can-
would like to.
May I add something?
Sherwin, yeah, okay, good.
Please.
If I may say a few words, please. This I believe that the new normal for SMEs is that SMEs, according to me, is the most is the type of sector which is quite which can adapt easily to changes. And then for the new normal means the opportunities are very much for SMEs now, because in terms of their capacity to innovate, their capacity to adapt, their capacity to use the new technology at a low cost, and then given all the advantages which the government is giving now, laying emphasis on SMEs, and even in terms of the new mode of work, new mode of doing business, the new business model, as we may say, in terms of work at home, in terms of trying to adapt to the changes, and even in trying to use the technology. And what is important for SMEs is that I think SMEs has got lots of opportunities now, new areas too, but the only thing is SMEs should be able to maintain, to try to see in way the supply chain should maintain in terms of trying to have better transparency and better organization, so that in case, because the uncertainties would continue, in case there is another wave, the SMEs would protect itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zillur Rahman, are you there and online?
Yeah.
Would you want to share?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I am online, and I like to add something, just a supplement. Already the panelists they raised about the post of COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, when it will be the post COVID-19 pandemic, it is uncertain, right? But as our Bangladesh government, our Prime Minister already told that we have to run with the COVID-19. Including the COVID-19, we have to pass our life, we have to pass our time, we have to pass our everything. So that means, and someone already given one remarks, just like a joke, that the COVID-19 like wife. I mean, we have to adopt that how we should adopt, and how we can match with this COVID-19, this corona, this invisible enemy. So one thing I just like to mention, that if this is a post COVID-19, that what inshallah we hope that very soon we would recover our business sectors, our financial losses, and by passing this crucial time. So what we have to need, we need food bank development of each countries. We need our employment creation. We need our awareness development to the people, to the mass people, and we need to adopt that technology, new technology, and the above all, we have to develop our patriotism in each country. If we think ourselves, our country people, they are my family members. If the government, if the stakeholders, if the main chair in different places in the private sector, in the governmental offices, if they think that these people are their family members, these people, the main stakeholders people, the main chairs people, they would be transparent and they would not make any discrepancy for whatever the government taken the initiative for the helping to survive the SMEs people, to survive the country people. If these people, the higher people, like the parliament members, like the officials, like the bankers, if they think, yes, we have to help our people, we have to help our brothers and sisters, we have to help our nations. So it is in transparently, without any corruption. If they think before, yes, we know in every country, this is the least developed country, middle least developed country, in the higher developed country, in developed country, everywhere has the corruption. But now the time we have to think ourselves as some honest person, that yes, now the time the people they suffered, already suffering, and we have to help them from my heart, from our heart, without any making corruption. If this is their internal their thinking to help the people, I think with the nations, wherever this is in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, or wherever, we will survive. We will survive, and we can be continued, and we can get the recover, and we can recover our as before our normal lifestyle. And this private also, many people, not only the government, private also, many people in like Emirates, just I heard that the private sectors, they are helping the SMEs. In Emirates, the 92% they are in SMEs, and there are about 52% GDP without the well from these SMEs. So they're also helping, but they need the pure mind, need the honest mind, honest intention to love the people, to develop the people, to develop the nations. Thank you.
Thank you
May I
very much.
comment? May I comment, please? May I comment,
please? Yes, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you
Very much.
yeah. First of all, I'd like to bring one small correction. In the introduction, mention was made that I was the senior chief executive of the ministry. I wish to point out that I have now retired from the service. I'm now a retired ex-senior chief executive of the ministry. So I'm no longer connected with government, so I can be more critical of the actions taken by government. I'm setting up my own, consultancy business, so I'm available for other purpose as well. Now, coming back to the issue of what is happening, what will happen to SMEs post COVID-19, it is important to ensure that a sustained growth of SMEs who have been so far demonstrating, certain potential. It is also important to save jobs. Otherwise, we will find ourselves, not only in Mauritius, everywhere in the world, SMEs would find themselves without business. So the tendency will be to reduce their current costs by laying off workers or simply closing down. So government has to come up with, some measures, some schemes. And one of the measures taken by the government of Mauritius, which is praiseworthy, of course, is massive investment on infrastructure development and roads, etc., and housing schemes. Now, with this massive investment in these sectors, infrastructure, road, and other developments and housing schemes, this will create certainly opportunities for new SMEs to emerge and for existing ones to go into new areas. Otherwise, you know, the future is very bleak, right? So this is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uzur. Mr. Abdin wanted to share something related to the question being asked. Mr. Abdin, if you are around, please.
Hello.
Mr. Abdin, please go ahead. Yes, you are audible.
Thank you very much. Actually, COVID-19 and its impact on SMEs, not only SMEs, its impact will be everywhere. For example, we came to know that our military expenditure has to be shifted to healthcare and virology scientific research. And our physical activities has to be transformed into virtual thing or virtual reality. For example, COVID-19 is a threat for the physical transaction for supply chain, but it is an opportunity for the e-commerce and e-business side. Yeah, as we know, e-commerce transaction has been raised many times during this lockdown period. So SMEs has to adopt those e-commerce or e-business mode of operations. Not only this, this COVID situation taught us that operating capital could be a crisis. So after immediate withdrawal of COVID situation, there will be a shortage of working capital. So government has to supply working capital, or the SMEs themselves has to manage the fund. For example, if he can allow credit for 500 before the pandemic, now he has to reduce the credit line and has to bring those credit line into his working capital. And after COVID
Shivani
situation,
Shukla ji, please mute your mic. Shivani Shukla ji.
hello.
Pooja Gupta ji, please mute your mic. Shivani Shukla ji, please mute your mic. We are not able to listen. Mohammad Abdin ji, please mute your mic.
Megha, please take back the administration back for me, and you can block that person.
So after COVID, hello, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So after the COVID situation, our SME investors have to diversify their investment. For example, many professions will be abolished, and many new professions, of course, will be come in. For example, before January 2020, we cannot look about hand sanitizer, mask, and glasses, copper glasses, shield, these types of products. But now these types of products are coming in the market. So COVID situation is also creating opportunities for the SMEs, those who are producing masks. It is creating opportunities for the chemical factories, those who were producing hand sanitizer, those who are producing face shield. So newer opportunities will come in, and SMEs has to adopt those opportunities for to diversify their business and sustain. And of course, COVID situation taught us how to work remotely. For example, the World Association of SMEs, that is WASME, may think to organize this workshop or this conference physically in any where of the world or India. But now COVID situation make us bound to do this over Zoom or GoToMeeting or any virtual platform. So remote work has to be adopted. New innovation and new technology have to adopt it. For example, if you employ 5 security guard in your company currently, then you have to transform into mechanization. You will deploy 5 CC camera in after post-COVID situation. So physical presence of human being will be avoided, but the purpose will be served. So you have to mechanize your business. You have to adopt newer technologies. You have to shift from your existing physical mode of operations into digitized mode of operation. The use of AIT, blockchain, 4 industrial revolution technology, such types of technology will be there, and you have SME entrepreneurs have to adopt those to sustain as well to gain market access. So I think SMEs will survive, we will survive, but only thing is we have to change the mode of operation as per requirement of the time. Thank you.
Mr. Abdin, I have a follow-up question. What kind of new businesses are likely to emerge? Right. Nepal is talking about going back to industries like agriculture, local industrialization. These are the industries that are already available. Okay. I'm interested in knowing, though by people like you are working in this sector for a longer time, what kind of new forms of businesses or new ways of doing business or new businesses are going to emerge, likely to emerge?
I got your point. I got your point. For example, I was discussing about automation of business processes. For example, if you have a factory, SME factory, you are producing for a clothes or any fabric before COVID situation. Now your supply chain has been different. For example, you are producing something to supply in the North American countries, but COVID situation has disrupted your supply chain. If you remain idle your factories, you remain idle your workers, then you will lose the business. Then you have to immediately shift your focus into the new opportunities. For example, you can start creating masks, then supplying in the local industry. For example, COVID situation remind us. Yes, I am coming to the next phase. COVID situation reminds us that global supply chain concept failed. For example, only China sourcing country, China or only sourcing country XYZ is now failed. We have to think local supply chain development. We have to think regional supply chain.
When Mr. gets connected, we can come back to him. Any other panelists would like to comment on it? New businesses are likely to emerge in the post-COVID era? Dr. Elabari, if you are there, you can respond to the question. Okay, Dr. Janki. Okay, any other panelists in response to this question? The question is, what will be the new forms of business or new businesses in the post-COVID era?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, please.
Okay, you can hear me. Please, can you just repeat the question? I was just addressing some issues in.
We can't hear
You just.
Can
you hear me? You can't.
Professor Janki?
Yes. Can you just repeat the question, please? Do me a favor. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello. Can you listen to me?
Megha, can you hear us?
Yes. Hello, Professor. Can you listen to me? Okay. I can't hear you. Oh my gosh. What's happening?
Hello.
Some technical issues are
Hello.
there. I think some network issues are there.
Can you? Yes. Can anyone hear me? Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ambassador, you are audible
Yes.
to us.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you just repeat the question, please? Do me a favor. I was just listening to something else here.
You
You
are
are
asking
talking about
about
the new business model.
new business version after COVID
Yeah,
situation.
I think with the pandemic, I think the new business model, first of all, in terms of micro and medium enterprises, will take the lead in all the sectors. And secondly, we have to use the digital technology. Definitely, I think this is where the different platforms would be used by SMEs using ICT and trying to use a platform. And then the next type of business that's going to come is we're going to have lots of formality, because in many developing countries we've got lots of informal sector, including India and elsewhere. Many of the informal sectors now, they will come to formality. They will try to use all the digital platform which are there and coming up with new startup. But what is more important is with SMEs, we would have to go to new things like distribution, agriculture, using technology, and then I feel that the new model that we have will be basically guided very much by the role of the government, the support from the government, because of the increasing importance of SMEs in the new mode of production. For example, working at home would be something which would become very common, especially SMEs can easily adapt to it, and cutting costs, by working at home instead of a large industry, instead of a large enterprise. So I feel that this is the new types of business model that come, and then the SME all around the globe is going to see in what way they would have some opportunity to see in what way they can maintain the stock, maintain the supply chain in case we have any new wave of the pandemic. And I find SMEs, coming in the forefront of any economy, any business environment now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other panelists like to comment on it, please? Dr. Irani, are you around? Would you like to comment on it? All right. If you don't have any further questions, we can close this session. Can we close this session, Dr. Sanjeev?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the.
Can I kick someone just last minute?
Yes. You can continue.
Everybody? Yeah, just one thing, just my personal opinion. Just now, we shouldn't be afraid. At the starting time, how we was afraid about this COVID-19, about the invisible enemy. Now, after passing this time, after passing these 2-3 months, I think we should be something liberal. We should be something normal. We shouldn't be afraid. This is the main thing. Just yes, we should maintain the social distancing. We should maintain ourselves, not to go to the gathering places, not to go to the because we know where we can be. One dirty place, an environmental place. So we know better. But this COVID-19, I think now the maximum thing it is from the media. It's more and more so much their news and views is coming from the media. The general people, not only who, the general people also becoming afraid. And so we need the awareness to the people and for ourselves that we should not be afraid for this COVID-19. We have to run. If we afraid of this, the neighbors, the workers, the general people, even the employee and the employers, all they will leave their job. They will stay at their home only like this. But this is not the life. We have to adopt this situation mobilization of the people, mobilization of the transaction, mobilization of the mass people have to develop. Otherwise, the economy will be more disrupted, and the country, not only the Bangladesh, not only the India, the country will be doing. The economy will be day by day it will be doing. You see, yes. If we conscious, I think this is nothing. Just with consciousness, we should move our business, our production, our family life, our everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir. Thank you.
I would like to thank all the panelists for sharing their insights. Thanks to COVID, I mean, unfortunately, we are able to do this because of COVID, and I'm able to hear all panelists from various different countries. This is really, really insightful to me. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Over to you, Dr. Sanjeev.
Okay, I would like to thank first COVID that we have already created this kind of platform due to this COVID-19 that we connected or networked all the important dignitaries across globe. It was not possible to arrange this kind of webinar, international webinar in a short time. Thank you. Thank you all the dignitaries, Dr. Janki, Mr. Rahman, Muhammad Abdin, Mr. Agrawal, Professor Vignesh, Mr. B, Dr. Iradri, Mr. Ujur, and all. Thank you, all the participants again.
And thanks
also
to
I will
Mohammad Abdin sir also. Thanks
Abdin
a
sir,
lot
yes.
on the short notice you had joined the session.
Yes.
Yes.
I would also like to thank our WASME team for helping us to create this kind of platform and supporting implementing this. Thank you very much. We would like to also
Thank you, everyone.
thank all the
Stay safe, stay at
dignitaries or
home,
the
please take care.
participants over there. Yes. We will also share the e-certificate soon. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.